Hey everyone, me Kevin here. I got scammed by the Shiba Inu NFT process, but in part, it was my fault. Potentially all of it, but in this video, I'm going to show you, for educational purposes, how I got screwed and how you can avoid getting screwed. I want to be very clear though, while the NFT process for the Shiboshis, or the Shiba Inu first drop of 10,000 NFTs, was a disaster, I still support Shiba Inu. Okay, let's get into exactly what you gotta know. And there are three very, very important pieces of this puzzle that you have to know. And all three of these will be a learning lesson when it comes to working with NFTs. This cost me about $13,777, and only 25% of that was related to what you might think it's related to. But watch this video and you'll learn it all. If you appreciate, by the way, the information that you're going to get here totally for free, make sure to smash that subscribe button. It's a red button and it's right there next to the thumbs up button. All right, let's get into this. Step number one, you've got to be prepared if you're going to participate in a non-fungible token drop. Remember, an NFT drop refers to being able to pick up some new piece of artwork, whether that might be access to a digital music collection or something as simple as a PNG photo that's created by either a creator or sometimes even an algorithm. But you want to prepare, and it's very, very important that you prepare because many different platforms use different types of currency. So for example, if you use OpenSea to buy your NFTs, you usually have to deposit ETH, turn it over into the Polygon network, and it can take up to an hour for that money to transfer, which if there's an NFT drop that you're excited about, you're going to miss out. And the last thing you want to do is be rushing to transfer to a token that you're supposed to have, but you don't have. So you've got to be prepared. Take a look at this specifically. If you go to the Shiboshi website where the Shiba Inus were dropped, where the Shiba Inu NFTs were dropped, I should say, there's really no mention here that these are only purchasable in leash. However, and this is totally in fairness to Shiba Inu, even though they don't mention anything about a leash being used for NFTs here on their main website, Shiba Swap, or on their shiboshi.shibaswap website, they did have a little temporary banner that was up, and this was my fault. I missed it, and I have a recording of this. They did have a small temporary banner up that said these were only, quote, mintable with leash for the first 24 hours. I didn't make the connection that they meant that I would need leash to be able to buy the NFT. That was my failure. I saw that banner. It makes sense now because clearly here it says mint your Shiboshis and you have to do it with leash. So I had to go through this process of converting my Ethereum over to leash, but I couldn't directly convert from Ethereum over to leash. I actually had to convert from Ethereum with my MetaMask wallet to Shiba Inu, and then from Shiba Inu to leash, which meant I was incurring gas fees twice. Big F. Then, ultimately, when I did try to use my leash to mint my Shiboshis, none of my transactions ended up going through, which was extremely frustrating. I kept getting these sorts of errors over here that I'd have errors in trying to swap from Ethereum to leash. I'd have errors going from when I finally got from ETH to SHIB, I'd have errors in actually getting to any kind of minting. So once I had my leash over here, I had a leash balance, I'd even try to just put one in. I'd hit start minting and I'd get frozen on this minting process. And eventually I would just get this notice that my NFT minting process had failed. And so even though I was early enough, and this is a part where I have a little bit of a gripe with Shiba Inu, even though I was early enough, I failed to get any of the NFTs. And that, to me, was a bummer. In fact, you could see my transactions here, 4 failed NFT transactions, all within the first 20 minutes of this drop. And they did sell out within 35 minutes. So if I have any complaint with Shiba Inu, it's that they should have really, in the minting process, reserved coins for people who said, okay, I'm in the minting process. They should have automatically reserved those NFTs for those folks during the minting process. Because my suspicion is you had 10,000 available NFTs, but they essentially probably let let's say 30,000 people mint NFTs, and then a bunch of people, say 20,000 including me, just had failed transactions, which is really frustrating because you pay for failed transactions. Now, we'll talk more about failed transactions and Ethereum fees in just a moment, but the next thing that you have to be aware of is, remember how I mentioned I took my Ethereum, transferred it to Shiba Inu. These are both coins that people hodl, but I also transferred my Shiba Inu over to Leash. Leash is not something that a lot of people hodl. Now, there are people who do, so no offense to those folks, but it's not something as popular, obviously, as Shiba Inu. So you're gonna have more hodlers in Shiba Inu, which means right before an NFT drop, you're probably going to expect massive volatility of this price going way up and then plummeting after the drop. Well, this is where I failed twice. First, I should have prepared for this drop much more than I did, and I didn't. Because if I zoom out back to somewhere around the beginning of October, just about 2 weeks ago, Leash was trading for somewhere around $928. It was really trading between $700 to $1,000 here pretty consistently for a long period of time. We knew this drop was coming, and I should have converted some of my money to Leash. Unfortunately, I did not convert my money to Leash until the NFT drop, which the NFT drop was the 14th, which is when these leashes were trading for somewhere up to $2,800 intraday. It was crazy. Look at this, $2,800, $2,900. And as soon as the drop was over, I made another mistake. So rather than preparing properly, I bought Leash high because I wanted to buy the NFT. I didn't think I was going to keep Leash. I didn't care about Leash. I wanted the NFT. But when my transaction failed, I should have immediately converted my Leash back to Shiba Inu. But I didn't do that because I was frustrated that I didn't get one of the NFTs. So I let my frustration and emotion take over, and I let my Leash sit there like a dum-dum, and then of course the value of Leash plummeted as everybody else actually transferred their money from out of Leash. They either got their NFT or they transferred back over to Shiba Inu or Ethereum or wherever they wanted to go. Now, I got out before it just continued to plummet, but I still lost value on Leash. And my biggest learning lesson here was don't get into a utility token right before it's needed and then get out after it's needed. It's the opposite of what you want to do. If anything, you want to get in when it's not needed and get out when it's needed, right? I flipped that because I wanted to buy the NFTs. I thought I was going to be in Leash for like 2 minutes. Well, that didn't happen. Why? Again, because all of my transactions literally failed, which is really, really annoying because transactions, and this is the next gripe I have. I mean, look, I've got a few gripes. Number one is the fact that we use the utility token. Very, very annoying. They, in my opinion, could have been a little bit more clear that you needed Leash to use it, but in fairness, they did say only mintable in Leash. That was just my fault for not digging deeper into that. But it also bothers me that we didn't or weren't able to buy these NFTs in Shiba Inu itself, because then I don't think we would have had this crazy volatile move in the price of the actual underlying token, because Shiba Inu, again, has hodlers, and it's not just this utility token. And again, I understand there are going to be people who hodl Leash, but there are more hodlers in Shiba Inu. Just want to be respectful of all sides. Now, okay, that's another gripe I have, but the big one, and this is another big F that you want to pay attention to if you're getting into the sort of NFT or crypto game, is you've gotta pay attention to Ethereum gas fees. Okay, so this is the third big problem. When you're transacting while things are really hypey, like during an NFT drop, you want to do everything in your power to minimize the amount of transactions you're doing, because the more transactions you process, the more NFT fees you're going to pay. The more Ethereum gas fees you're going to pay. And look at this, folks. I paid $485 to swap 2 tokens of Ethereum to Shiba Inu. But I also paid to approve the speed to the highest priority, another $149, $396, $110, $256. For a failed minting of the NFTs, I paid $1,400 for literally a failed minting. I kid you not. Come over here to, I believe it was my first failed minting. No, that one was $79. Here, this one, Mint NFT, which ended up failing. Look at this. $1,441. That's freaking insane. That is absolutely insane. Oh, I put $1,433. Well, $1,441. There we go. It's even worse than expected. But anyway, that's for a failed transaction. And I looked at, Ethereum failed transactions, and look at what it says. You are paying for the computation regardless of whether your transaction succeeds or fails. Even if it fails, the miners must validate and execute your transaction, which takes computational power. You must pay for that computation just like you would pay for a successful transaction. Well, dang it. So anyway, you know, when I first talked about this, there were some folks who were like, Kevin, you didn't get screwed by Shiba Inu, you got screwed by the gas fees. Well, I did the math, and I only lost 25.69% of my $13,777 from gas fees. I actually lost most of my value by getting screwed by using leash. And this is something that I have a gripe with Shiba Inu over. I wish they didn't use just this utility token, but again, I blame myself more, so I'll take all the blame. It's fine, I'm making this for educational purposes, but I will take the blame because I should have just known the game better. And I didn't, so I lost money. Not only though did I lose $13,777, of which $3,539 were gas fees, so yeah, it's still a hit, but the majority of the loss was leash. $10,237 was lost market value because I didn't transfer out a leash right away, because again, I thought I was gonna get the NFTs. But I also lost opportunity. See, I assumed that I should have received about 8 NFTs for the amount of money I sent over. And these Shiba Inus right now, and you've got to be careful because there are a bunch of misleading listings on OpenSea. But if you type in Shiboshi, you're looking for the one that has 10,000 items, which is this page right here. These right now are selling with a floor price of about 1.25 Ethereum. So 1.25 Ethereum times 8 times about 3,800 where we're sitting, you know, that's actually $38,000 of opportunity I lost because for some reason 4 of my mintings just failed. And I have no idea, and this is something else that's frustrating, is there's no customer service number to call. There's nothing you could do. There's nobody you can complain to. There's nothing you can do. You just blame yourself. It's like, but I don't even know why I could blame myself. It's just the transactions failed. I didn't get what I thought I was going to get, so I didn't end up getting one of these NFTs, which keep in mind, if I had gotten one of the NFTs, it's worth noting the open or sort of the forced appreciation they had. So if you jump over here, here you go, look at the minting process. The first 3,000 about to get minted were basically getting traded at 0.1 Ethereum. So these folks 12x their money. These folks would have about 6x their money, and these folks would have about 4x their money. I didn't care, I just wanted to be in, and I would have probably just held on to my Shiboshi unless I didn't like it for some reason and traded it for something different. But the whole process left such a bad taste in my mouth. I've been pretty frustrated about it. I do blame myself, and I understand the process a whole lot better now, but I'm really making this video as a PSA for you, so that way you don't get screwed. And if you want more PSAs of me losing money and where I effed up, make sure to hit that red subscribe button down below. Thank you so much for watching, and folks, see you in the next one.